To gain entrance to this Agartha, you must go through what is termed a waterfall. You go behind it. And it's not too far from the capital of Tibet. There's a waterfall. You go behind the waterfall into a cave. Goes down at a little less than a 45-degree angle, going down. You get down to the bottom, you come to a great door with a symbol on the door, the symbol of Lemuria. And you will, on that symbol, you put your hand upon it, it will open for you, if your heart and mind are in the right place. That is how you gain entrance to our world. You must be emotionally, from heart, ready. Through what is termed as your mind and vibration must be at a certain level, and you will be accepted.
Now, if you read a book called The Black Sun by Peter Moon, it has a chapter in it on the Bond tradition and how it is closely related to and an extension of inner earth. Now, as you can see here, its symbol is the swastika. Take the spookism out of it, because this is a cross-cultural symbol that can be found in various cultures around the world, whether ancient or modern. The 4 angles represents the 4 streams of water flowing from Mount Meru. This is also the 4 rivers of paradise mentioned in the book of Genesis, because the original Eden is in inner earth. This is also the 4 primary directions on a compass: north, east, west, and south, the news. And you see that the swastika symbol for the Bond tradition has 4 primary colors. This is what the Tibetan monks and priests refer to as the rainbow body. The 4 directions are also symbolic of the 4 elements. Water represents emotions, earth represents the physical body, air represents thought, and fire represents spirit. Another symbol related to the rainbow body in the 4 directions is the Dzogchen symbol. Wikipedia.org reads, Dzogchen, meaning great perfection or great completion, also known as Ati Yoga, is a tradition of teachings in Indo-Tibetan Buddhism and Bon aimed at discovering and continuing in the ultimate ground of existence. The goal of Dzogchen is knowledge of this basis. This knowledge is called Rigpa. There are spiritual practices taught in various Dzogchen systems for awakening Rigpa. The book The Black Sun reads, the founder of Bon is known as Shinrab to the Tibetans, but he was said to come from the region of Elam, where he was known as Mithra, the bull god. He is also known as Mura, an interesting concoction of syllables if you consider Mu as the lost continent Mu or Lemuria and Ra as Ra, the sun god of Egypt. The Bon religion, in its most pure and original form, was based on the concept of the goddess as recognized in the symbolism of the black sun. In this respect, the black sun signifies the void of creation from which all things originate. By the time the Buddhists took over the annals of history, they wrote that Tibet was a she-demon who had to be subjugated. This was merely a criticism of the Bon religion and their way of looking at the world through the feminine principle. The Bons recognized the land of Shambhala by the name of Ulmalungring, which has also been identified in the abbreviated form of Ong, Og, or Oz. It is an invisible kingdom surrounded by snow and allegedly located in the northwest region of Tibet. This is the area from which Shinrab descended when he came down from heaven on a rope. He was followed by many kings who remained in the hidden sanctuary of Ong and guarded the Kalachakra teachings of Bon. The Doctor Strange series and Shang-Chi are closely related. Stephen and Wong stay and train at Hermitage, which is a school for the masters of the mystic arts. This is somewhat synonymous with the Tibetan monks and priests of the Bon tradition. At the end of the Shang-Chi movie, Wong met with Shang-Chi, and Shang-Chi previously had visited Talo, which is symbolic of Shambhala, or Agartha, or Shangri-La. Stephen and Wong are considered as masters of the mystic arts. You can consider them as being initiates of the Great White Brotherhood, which is the Order of Melchizedek. This is also the Order of the White Lotus in the Avatar series. Each lead member is considered a master at bending their element or wielding their weapon. The White Lotus is symbolic of the crown chakra, and each member is a wellspring of knowledge and wisdom. But in order to enter the heart of Earth, your heart has to be right. And looking at this picture or map of Agartha, it says Agartha, land of advanced races, aka masters of the mystic arts. This description of Agartha is from Glorian.com. It reads, Agarthi. The kingdom of Agarthi is found in the subterranean caverns of the earth. The earth is hollow and the network of caverns constitute Agarthi. The genie of the earth, Melchizedek, lives in Agarthi with a group of survivors from Lemuria and Atlantis. The Goros, powerful lords of life and death, work with Melchizedek. The whole ancient wisdom of centuries has been recorded on stone within the kingdom of Agarthi. Samael on War, the Gnostic Bible, the Pistis Sophia unveiled. And if you remember the TV show American Gods, in the first episode of the second season, the gods met at the House of Rock. This is symbolic of the Rups Nigra, the black rock of Mount Meru. Then they got on the carousel, which is symbolized as going around the North Pole. The pole is Mount Meru. The lights on the carousel represents the northern lights, the aurora borealis. And the carousel has animals, which is symbolic of the zodiac, the solar crux. Notice how there are 4 gods on the carousel. This is symbolic of the 4 fixed signs of the zodiac. The lion represents Leo, the bull represents Taurus, the man represents Aquarius, and the eagle, which is Aquila, represents Scorpio. These 4 signs also represents the 4 faces of the cherub as spoken about in the Bible. And as they picked up speed, the third eye or the pineal gland of each god began to glow. And eventually, they all made it down to the underworld, the realm of the gods, which is called the Duat in Kemetic tradition, Valhalla, the Hall of the Gods in Norse mythology, Mictlan in Aztec mythology, and Amenti or Menta from Tahuti's The Emerald Tablets. And by the way, Shadow Moon is the Norse god called Baldur.
Don't forget about Moana and how she went with Maui to the realm of monsters. But before they can get in, they had to travel to a stone pillar or a mountain, which is symbolic of Mount Meru. And that giant pillar sitting in the middle of the water represents the world tree of Norse mythology, the Yggdrasil, but it's cut off. It's a giant silicone tree that has been cut off.
And notice in Moana, they're going through water as a portal. In the book The Black Sun, it talks about Hyperborea, which is Agartha, being outside of this dimension.
And then you had Kong taken to the North Pole to go into inner Earth.
This scene also depicts having to go through a portal in order to reach inner Earth. Because like I mentioned earlier, Hyperborea, Agartha, exists outside of this dimension, so time does not operate there as it does on the surface world.
And the creatures that he fought in there, the warbats, represents the primal power of the vril or vitriol energy, considering it had green blood. They're also symbolized as the caduceus, the staff of Asclepius, the Nehushtan, the serpent that Moses raised on a staff in the wild. Just know that dragon-like figures always represent a primal force.
In the book The Black Sun, it says that the capital city of Shambhala is called Thule, and this is symbolic of the mountain that Kong is running to. This is why Hitler named his secret society within the Nazis the Thule Society, or the Vril Society, after the capital city.
And the kings of Earth are in inner Earth, which is what Kong became, King Kong, when really though, it's Godzilla. And these scenes here is from the Iron Sky 2, The Coming Race trailer. Just make sure that you always use your own discernment and you make your own judgment.
So that's the capital city called Thule.
And when it pans up, it shows the inner sun.